I love the way that he described Japan in this book. It's, it really makes me want to go visit. I want to just book a ticket and just head over there.
International tourists are flocking to Japan as the yen continues to slide.
Tokyo, man. Still can't believe I actually really got to go. This was a super last second trip for me. I literally booked my tickets 2 weeks in advance, and I somehow managed to convince 2 of my friends to tag along with me. The main reason why I bought my ticket super last second was because it was so cheap. I flew with Zip Air, and it's a pretty decent airline. It is cheap to go right now because the Japanese economy is kind of not doing so hot. The Japanese yen is slowly recovering, but it is significantly worse right now than it was just 2 years ago. So what does it mean if the yen is weaker? This pretty much means if you're paying with US dollars, everything is going to be cheaper for you than it is for someone who is a local. A question that everyone kept asking me when I came back was, does Tokyo live up to the hype? Is it really this super awesome city that we should all go visit? And the answer is yes, go visit. It is so cool. It's such an awesome place. It is easily my favorite city that I have been to so far. The only thing that was kind of disappointing, but not really disappointing, was everyone always described it as a super futuristic. They're living in 2050, they're 30 years above us in technology, and that's just not true. Yeah, they have some cool things, but it's not like so advanced where you walk into a whole different world. But while I was there, it did still kind of feel like I was on an alien planet just because of all the culture shocks. Tokyo is now the second mega city that I have ever visited, the first one being Mexico City. How did Tokyo even end up being the biggest metropolitan area in the world? This area has gone through fires, earthquakes, and bombings. During World War II, before Japan was known for the cutesy anime stuff that we all love today, they were known for some not so fun things. And were a very expansionist Axis power. In 1945, the Allies, specifically the United States, firebombed 16 square miles of central Tokyo. This is about 20.5 Monacos being destroyed. After Japan lost the war, the United States occupied them for about 7 years and pushed massive reforms and reconstruction of their infrastructure. Just 12 years later, through some insane rapid post-war reconstruction and economic growth, Tokyo hosted the first ever Summer Olympics in Asia. 2 years later, they opened up the world's first bullet train from Tokyo to Osaka. This is quite possibly the greatest economic turnaround I have ever seen from any country. Here in California, we've been trying to make one high-speed rail for the last 30 years and we still don't have it. When you land, the first thing you should do after getting through customs is figure out how the public transportation works. When I first landed, I'm not gonna lie to you, it looked super confusing to me. My poor American mind could not handle this much public transportation at one time. Honestly, it's not too complicated to get around if you just take a couple minutes to really understand how it works. Do not look at all the subway line maps that are everywhere. They will scare you. And definitely do not use Apple Maps for the trains. It doesn't mean you can't use Apple Maps at all. When I was walking around the city, I exclusively used Apple Maps, and whenever I was taking the subway or the trains, I exclusively used Google Maps. Google Maps has so many useful features for the train, like showing you the platform, the train line, and even what exit to leave from in the station. Some of the stations that you'll go to are so massive. We actually got lost in Tokyo Station for about 2 hours. We were trying to find the Lego store that they have there for my buddy Isaac. He wanted to get like a stamp for his Lego passport. And when we finally found the store, they told him that he can't even get a stamp because they only give it out to kids. So that was a fun waste of time. The Suica card is pretty much how you'll get around the public transport in Tokyo. You don't need to get a physical card. I just got one because I wanted it as a souvenir. And I was kind of stupid because the card costs you 500 yen and you can ask them to give you that 500 back, but I just forgot about it. And 500 yen is only like maybe $4. I pretty much only use the digital Suica card. You can just add it in your Apple Wallet, and that's the easiest way to get around. So the way it pretty much works with the card and the digital way is when you're entering, you scan, lets you through, and then it'll show you your balance on a little display. And then you go through whatever exit you are, and then you scan it again, and that's when it charges you. So let's say you scan it and you don't have enough, it'll flash red, and you'll have to fill up right there. If you do it digitally, you won't need to carry cash on you. Another cool thing about the Suica card is you can actually use this at a bunch of convenience stores and vending machines. The same with the digital one, you just scan it and then it'll pay, kind of like a prepaid card. But honestly, I never really did that. I just paid with my normal card, or I used whatever cash I had on me. Something you should probably know is that Tokyo's railway isn't just run by one company. It's run by a bunch of different ones that combine together. But this is the only card I used during my whole trip, and this card should pretty much get you anywhere around Tokyo. Another thing that you have to know is that the trains close at midnight and they don't open up again until 5 a.m. every day for maintenance. So if you're out partying and it's past 12, just keep partying until 5 a.m. because you're not going to be able to get a train back. And if you try to take a taxi, it is significantly more expensive. The entire trip, I only took public transit. I didn't take any taxi. I didn't enter a car. I didn't use a bus. I just took the trains. The trains are cheap. They're honestly your best way to get around Tokyo. When I was planning my trip initially, something I didn't know about Tokyo is that it's technically not one city. Tokyo has a metropolitan government, and that metropolitan government governs 23 special wards and then a bunch of other cities, towns. So these all combine together to become the Tokyo metropolitan area. So when I was planning my trip here, I planned each day around a ward or two. And a ward is like a small city. This way made it so much easier for me to plan my day. It's because I know, okay, I can be in this area and then this area and then this area and then this area, and they're all very close to each other. While I was in Tokyo, I went to a total of 8 wards. I'll give you a quick rundown of each one that I went to and if they are worth a visit. Bunkyo. This is the area that I stayed in. It's a very quiet area. There's a lot of families that live here, and then there's a bunch of schools that are here as well. So it's not really like a lot of nightlife. There's a bunch of cool little parks that we just sat in and ate our food. There's a little shopping area near you that you can check out. And you're only about a 20-minute train ride from everything. And this area was also pretty cheap, but it was cheap for a reason, to be fair. Shinjuku. And I know I'm messing up these pronunciations, but I'm trying. I here really early, and the thing that kind of sucks about Tokyo is everything opens at like 11, especially this area because Shinjuku is more of a nightlife area. Initially, I was gonna skip this area just because everything I saw online just looked kind of dirty and kind of touristy, but I mean, the most dirty part of Tokyo is like the nicest part of where I'm living. It's still cool. It has the famous Godzilla head here. I don't know if I'll come back to this specific area. If you are someone who really likes the nightlife, then this could be a good area for you. Shibuya. The famous Shibuya crossing is here, and it is really cool to see in person. Shibuya also has a lot of really cool shops, and this area I do like going to at night. It's really clean. There's so much stuff to do here. There's a huge 12-story Don Quixote here, and that place is great if you need souvenirs. And another place that's great for souvenirs in this area is called The Loft, which I would check out. I got a lot of really neat stuff from it. This is a really nice area. I will definitely come back to this area, and I highly recommend going here. Chiyoda. So this is kind of the center of the city. This is where the Imperial Castle is. Huge big walls and a moat, and in person it's way bigger than photos. The photos really don't do it justice, and there's a lot of history here too. If that's your thing, you can take guided tours, but I don't really like taking tours, so we just walked around the grounds and kind of enjoyed it for ourselves, and we still had a good time. The only thing that sucks about the Imperial Castle is there is no shade anywhere, so you're gonna get beamed by direct sunlight the entire time walking around there. The humongous Tokyo Station is here. You will probably end up here at some point if you're just taking the public transit. This is the area that where me and my friends got lost for a couple hours trying to find that damn Lego store. The station itself has so much stuff to do. There's a bunch of shopping areas under it. There's a bunch of really good food spots under it. Akihabara is here. I don't know how to pronounce that. This was the dirtiest part of Tokyo that we went to. It wasn't dirty where I felt like I was gonna get stabbed or anything. It smelled like pee here, and there was a bunch of girls dressed in anime clothes everywhere. I don't know if they were prostitutes or what they were trying to do. There's a lot of anime stores here and like electronic stores, so if that's your thing. They also have a lot of game centers here, but I wasn't able to win a single thing.
If I don't get one of these, it's an actual scam.
I definitely won't return to Akihabara, but the rest of Chiyoda, I'm definitely going to come back to. Chuo Ward. How do you pronounce Chuo? Chuo. Chuo. So this area is where Ginza is. We returned to this area multiple times for food and just walking around. The food here was so good, man. Every single thing we ate was incredible. There's a bunch of shopping stores here that are high fashion, and they also have Uniqlo, which is where I like to shop at. They have the huge flagship Uniqlo store here. I did end up going to the Uniqlo, but nothing fit me. Every single thing was too short on my arms. The biggest size they had was too small. I'll definitely be coming back here. Like I said, there's just so much good food here. There's so many shopping centers. There's a lot of cool stuff to see here, and it's really clean, so I highly recommend this one. Minato. This area had the Tokyo Tower. The Tokyo Tower is really cool to see in person. Right next to the Tokyo Tower was the Zojo Jai Temple. This was a really cool temple. You could see it from the Tokyo Tower. Teito. The huge Sensoji temple is here. There's a lot of little shops all around this temple, but it's very touristy. This was the only place in Tokyo where someone actually came up to me and tried to sell me something, but I definitely do think it's still worth the visit just because the architecture is really nice. Sumida. This is where the Tokyo Skytree Tower is. It's like the Tokyo Tower, similar, but way bigger. It's the tallest building that's in Tokyo. It's definitely worth the money to go all the way to the highest point. You can just look at the whole city, and it's just nothing but sprawl as far as you look. It's a really cool experience. I would really highly recommend going here. I know this area has way more things to do that I just didn't have time to see. Like, one thing that I really regret missing here is watching a sumo wrestling match. This area is where the first ever sumo tournament was held. The reason why I didn't check it out is because it was so expensive, dude. I tried looking for tickets online, and they were kind of crazy to just see two dudes in a diaper fighting. Like, if I had more money, I would do it, but you know, I was traveling on a budget. While I did spend most of my trip just in Tokyo, on our last day, we spent the entire day in Narita City because it was right next to the airport. And I'm glad we didn't miss this city because the Narita temple was beautiful. It's this massive complex. We essentially did an entire hike on our last day just to check out the entire grounds of it. You could spend hours here just exploring the little city of Narita, then exploring this huge temple. I would really recommend you go here, especially if you're landing in Narita. Either go on the day you land if you land in the morning, or go on your last day. They have lockers here that you can store your baggage and stuff in so that you don't have to like lug it around. I'm so happy I had this chance to go to Tokyo. I highly recommend it to anyone who can afford it. Now, I'm not rich, I'm a student, I work a full-time job. The only reason why I went is I found tickets for less than $600 and an Airbnb that was only $100 after splitting it with my friends. This was a super budget trip for me. The entire trip I spent less than $900. That's including the trains, the food, the plane ticket, and the Airbnb. To be fair though, I purchased very little things for myself. I didn't really do any shopping. Like, I see people on TikTok who come back with like 5 suitcases of shit. I don't even know how that's possible, dude. I don't know what you're buying. There's a bunch of cool stuff, but just don't waste your money. Especially if you want to come here as a student or on a budget. You can have a good time without spending thousands of dollars. You just don't have to do that. There's so many free temples. There's so many free parks and stuff that you can go check out. Like, all the temples that I went to, they were free. The only thing that cost me money was going up to towers, and those were like a total of $30 combined. I've always heard of how amazing Japan is supposed to be, but I never really bought into the hype before. I always thought, yeah, this would be a cool country to check out at some point, but I was never in any rush to go see it, like I am for places like Europe or South America. The whole eastern side of the planet has kind of just eluded my eyes. That doesn't mean I don't want to eventually explore the east. I do. I genuinely do. One of the goals of this channel is to document every country that I go to, and I want to go to every country. The only real complaint that I have about Tokyo is the weather. The weather was absolutely awful. It was so humid. It was so hot. I've never sweated this much in my life. Everywhere we went, I was sweating. My shirt felt like I stepped out of rain at all times. I was drenched in sweat. Anytime I could stop by AC, I would do it. I would stick my face in the fan and try to absorb as much AC as I can. Craziest thing too is everyone is dressed to the nines. I don't know how people there don't die of a heat stroke. I don't get it. Next time I come back to Japan, and I will come back, I'm gonna go in winter. I'm not coming back in summer. That ain't happening. Thank you for watching the video. If you are someone who lives in Tokyo, let me know some things that I missed in the comments. Like, I know I missed Mount Fuji. I know I missed the entire bay. I know I didn't go to other cities. I didn't go because I was on a budget. But I still want to hear what else you guys recommend I go next time I go. I do want to come back. I want to explore the whole country. I want to knock out the other cities, you know, that I didn't have time for. So please let me know, like, what other things do you recommend in Tokyo? And what are the things you recommend in all of Japan? I have my full itinerary added to my website with the breakdown of each ward in the next couple days. So look out for that if you're interested. Thank you again for watching.